rewind it back to Sunday night. It's damn near impossible to hit on every single thing that happens on an NFL Sunday. And if you listen to the Monday morning show, the main thing coming out of the Raiders' loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers in Vegas on Sunday was Josh McDaniels' strange fourth down decision making. Do you kick the field goal? Do you go for the touchdown? But what gets lost is what happens after. And I want to make sure we spend some time on it. Some interesting comments coming from Davante Adams after this game, the all-pro receiver traded from Green Bay to Vegas last year. Made a healthy sum of money with an extension, but hasn't gone the way that he would prefer from a wins and losses standpoint. I'm not trying to sow discord here. That's not my goal. I'm not trying to start rumors with the Raiders organization, but it's not every day you hear a player sound this frustrated in the wake of a week 3 loss. Remember, the Raiders win their season opener. So even with the loss to Pittsburgh, they're just sitting at 1-2. Davante Adams has a really fantastic night, 13 catches for 172 and 2 touchdowns. So with all of that in mind, knowing that you're only a game under 500 and you just had a wonderful performance, it's these comments get my radar up. I guess that's all I'm trying to say. Here's a quote from Davante Adams. It's only week 3, but I don't got time to wait around. It's not my mentality to sit here and try to take all season and figure it out. You use these early games like this to establish the identity, and we are not doing things the right way to establish a winning culture early in the season. So we've got to do something to turn that around. Not surprising coming from a guy who was in Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers, used to having an MVP quarterback, used to winning 12, 13 games a year, used to making deep runs in the playoffs. But like I said a minute ago, it's awfully early to hear somebody talk like that after 3 games, 2 losses. Now, I don't have a great feeling about where things are going for the Raiders, but it hasn't happened yet. Typically, this is the type of stuff you hear when a team is 2, 3, 4, 5 games below 500. And I just think it's interesting that we're not here at the end of September yet. We're not even into October. And this is what's coming out of a Raiders loss to Pittsburgh. Don't want to put any words in Davante Adams' mouth, but if you read these comments on social media, you hear the chatter around it, it doesn't sound like a guy who's going to want to hang around if things really go south for the Raiders. Now, I don't know how feasible a trade would look. I don't know who would. I mean, a lot of people would want Davante Adams. Let me not say that, but I don't know who would want to take on the contract, who would want to pay a price in a trade, who the Raiders would be willing to trade him to, or even if they would be willing to trade him to. Remember, Davante Adams was kind of a crown jewel for this organization. It was a sign that they were willing to compete in the AFC West, that they would even do this deal in the first place. Not a wonderful look if you're dealing him less than halfway into his second season with the team. Still really interesting. Still something that is now firmly, my antenna are up. I am going to be watching the Raiders. I'm going to be watching Davante Adams. At the very least, it's entertaining. The trade deadline is still a ways away. It's on Halloween. But if that's how Davante Adams feels after 3 games, I don't think you can rule out that possibility. And we know that there's been an uptick in the willingness to trade in the NFL over the last few years.